Hello, everybody. Well, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with my blanket here. It is freezing here in Cape Town, and I hope you're all doing well. There we go. All right, let me just bring my boom closer. Welcome to tonight's channeling session. Thank you so much for those that are joining. And of course, some people would be joining at a later stage. And yeah, so we are channeling the Morowell Collective tonight. And we especially want to tap into basically what's going on an emotional level with humanity tonight. So that's some of the questions we would like to ask tonight. What's going on an emotional level with humanity, with the human consciousness, with the awakening process and all of that, as well as physical changes, body changes that everybody's experiencing at the moment, and what we can do about that. So that's all information coming through. And I have an announcement before I forget. So on the 7th of June, Wednesday, the 7th of June at 7 p.m., I will be hosting my Phoenix Magic live event. And that is going to be per registration. It's going to be $8 for that session. It's going to be roughly 2 hours. It could run longer, but I'm aiming for 2 hours. And that's going to be an absolutely wonderful, detailed event in which I'll be working with the crystal rainbow light beings from Inner Earth, as well as the Archangels, the Morowell Collective, whom we will be speaking with tonight, and of course, our higher selves, as well as everybody's personal guides. So those will all be coming through, and I'll be working quite extensively at anchoring people into the current crystalline grid. So people, humanity itself. I'll be helping to set those pathways, and as well as a number of other things to really help propel people forward and manage this ascension process and in a much more efficient way. So that is what you can all expect. And after the live, I will post a link below for registration. Okay, and then as always, my business partner Anthony is joining me.
Oh. Hi everyone.
And he just stays behind the camera and allows any viewers that are in the live chat. And it's empty tonight. That is so weird. Usually there's people waiting,
Fantastic.
asking questions.
I got lots of questions. It's fine.
Awesome. So if we have to ask our own questions tonight, then that's what we'll do. But as always, there'll be lots of information coming through, and we're looking forward to that. So that is how it's going to go. So Anthony will facilitate that while I channel.
Bye.
Okay. And if you are new to my channel tonight, I'm a conscious and intuitive channel, which means I stay conscious and I don't go, I'm in trance, but not, it's not that I don't remember what happens. I'm there. I'm in the experience. I'm getting information, and I'm getting extra information while I'm channeling as well. So I usually see a whole lot of visuals and other things going on during the session. So that is what I do. And if you're interested in booking a session with me, I also do compassion key. I do channel healing, and I do coaching, and all of that is available online with online sessions, and the link is down below for that. And if you find value from the session, please share. Please share with those that you feel would get something out of it, and like and subscribe. And you can also make a donation, and there's a PayPal link down below for that. So I appreciate all contributions. It helps me to keep this going. So thank you in advance for any money that's coming in there. Love Money Exchange. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can get the Morowell Collective to come through. They are a higher frequency collective of various beings. In fact, I say they're an 8th density collective, but to be honest, some beings are higher density than that, and some are more 5th dimensional as well. Hi Renata, hi Wasima, hi Alison. Thank you so much for being here tonight, folks. Please do pass on your questions to Anthony so that he can read it. And yeah, so the Morowell Collective consists of ancient extraterrestrials that are linked into the 8th density, 8th dimensional. I think of it as a database or a database, which holds, so they're like the record keepers of all knowledge pertaining to this universe. And yeah, all the souls in the universe, all the happenings, the blueprints, everything. And then the archangels, various members of the archangels. So not every single archangel, but there's different ones checking in. Tonight it feels like the Fab Four, as I think of them. So they are here joining us tonight. And Metatron also feels like he's here. And there's also some inner earth beings, ancient earth beings, and it's all higher dimensional, higher frequency beings that are in this collective. And I started channeling this collective, the Morowell Collective, in October 2021. And yeah, they mean the world to me. They've guided me and helped me through a lot of things. So looking forward to seeing what guidance they can bring through for us tonight. Okay, let's get going. Please put your questions up for the Morowell Collective. One more admin thing before I forget. Starting on Wednesday night, I'm going to be doing a magic mediumship session on Facebook. So it will be on Facebook Live. It will be 7:30 at night on my Michelle Magic Medium Facebook group. So if you would like some personal questions answered, we are going to be doing that in a separate session from now on Wednesdays on Facebook. Okay, thank you very much. And I will make sure to put a link for that after the live as well. Okay, thank you. All right. So much happening right now. So much happening. Just have to get myself out of the way a little bit here. Transmuting, transforming everything. As I say, not only for me, but for those that are here, let's transmute and transform everything that has come through and everything that has shifted in this last while. If you are willing to receive this, the clearing and the integration, processing the integration a little bit more effectively, then you can just say yes or agree to it in some way and receive it. Just receive it, receive the healing. You can also set a boundary and say, I only receive that which is 100% light and for my highest good. So there we go. 100% light for the highest good of all. Please bring clarity to us. So that's what's happening as well. We are being brought clarity. And also with the information here tonight, whatever is shared tonight, to help things be more clear to us tonight. Okay, Morowell Collective, I'm ready for you. Thank you so much for coming through and serving us here tonight. Thank you. Greetings. Hello, all you beautiful, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for having us here again. We are so pleased to come through for you tonight and to continue our conversations about how we can help and assist humanity at this time. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello, Anthony. Hello, Michelle. Hello, everybody here. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So we would like to find out a bit more about emotions firstly. So I think the first question might help us understand how it relates to us as humans. I would like to know what's happening to Earth right now in terms of emotions and ascension, and how does that affect us?
So from your question, we are deriving that you mean Mother Earth.
Yes.
And what she is going through emotion. And of course, as she's going through this process and changing in this physical way, and as Tiamat is also helping Mother Earth with this ascension, helping Mother Earth shifting, she's also experiencing some vulnerability at this point. And everyone here on Earth are sensing and experiencing that with her to some extent. And in that way, she is helping with humanity's ascension by her going through things, just as when a baby is in a mother's womb, that baby experiences what the mother experiences, whether on a chemical or emotional level or an energetic or spiritual level. It comes through to that little infant. And in the same way, what Mother Earth is experiencing now benefits us in that way. And it can be a little bit daunting and a little bit shaky for most people that are currently experiencing this. As well as the inner earth beings, we are all feeling it. So those on this collective that is currently residing on inner earth are experiencing a lot of shifts as well, not only within themselves, but also within their communities and in their environments that they're living in. So not only do these emotions cause physical transformations, but also a collective transformation for all beings living on Earth and in Earth. So the emotions currently, as we have expressed, has to do with vulnerability. And in this vulnerability, the beauty of giving life, the beauty of getting ready to birth, the new possibilities, as well as the completion. It's the ending of a time and the beginning of a new time. So as with all of us, as we are needing to let go of the old so that we can lift up and go into the new and spiraling upwards, that is exactly what she's going through. And it has been a long time coming. Her cycles are a lot slower. The seasons keep going, but her death, rebirth cycle is a lot slower than ours. So she is also having to let go of pain that she has experienced by those that have inhabited her for millennia, millions of years of pain, certain things that she had to let go of. And she's able to transmute that energy much easier than we can. However, there's still remnants, deep remnants, karmic remnants of what she has to let go of before she can birth the new version of herself and the new place that we can call home. Many people are referring to this currently as New Earth, but of course it will have a completely different energy than just New Earth. It will be something much more magical and new. So please, we are happy to go into any of those details of what we mentioned. But yes, it's vulnerability. It's the love, the bond that is being formed with the beings that are ascending and with the new her, to be honest. So it's kind of meeting her future self in a way. It's a little bit different than a biological mother's process. But it's also the letting go, the sadness of those that have to depart and will not stay, those that will not be coming back, saying goodbye to some of the old things that were beautiful and wonderful, but now it's time for the next level. So just really a purging time.
Okay, thank you. And then on the in the same vein, the emotions, would you say that us as a human collective, our emotions are currently more heightened? And if so, how does that serve us? Seeing that it's all around vulnerability, how does that serve us at this moment?
It serves people to become more aware of themselves. So there are two major portions that are being affected. Of course, the whole being of the collectives being changed and transformed at this time, but there are two parts that's currently going through the biggest shift, and that is the physical body, the container of the soul, as well as the emotional body. Just as Mother Earth is shifting in her physical body and emotional body. Energetically, spiritually, there are still lots of things happening in the background, but the more of the focus will be on that in the next phase. And how the mental bodies tap into it is really receiving information from the physical body and emotional body. So the mental bodies are facilitating the process, but it's about going into the higher thinking to be able to access that, connecting to the higher selves and sometimes the oversouls of a group to really connect to that higher purpose to keep you going. So it is in these physical and emotional changes. And do you understand the body is a container for the soul, but the body is also a container for one's emotions. And the emotions and the soul have a direct link. That is why the heart space is always such a focus. So therefore, those two are very closely connected, and that's why the transformation happens with those linked so closely. So some people are experiencing more physical illnesses. Some people will survive it. Those that will survive it and will be able to accept the transmutation of their bodies, accept the changes that are happening, and be willing to go forward and onward with New Earth, they will receive new bodies. And in fact, this is the work that Michelle has been preparing for millions of years to do here on Earth. So that is part of what she's doing in connection with others that are doing other work. So there's a team that have been working on this. And we are all assisting in this. Everybody has a part to play, everybody. So, and then in the emotional side, it is the really allowing all the karma and inner, deepest wells of stuff that has never been dealt with for many lifetimes. Those are the things that are starting to get triggered. All the things, all the programming is being triggered right now. And the purpose of this and how it benefits humanity is to be able to let go. That is the main purpose of it, to be able to let go and to be able to heal. And it starts with the awareness of what is going on. So instead of going into a victim mode, and this is how it benefits humanity. So if you are in that victim mentality and you are keeping yourself blind to the lessons and the messages that are coming through from your body intelligence and your emotional intelligence, you will miss it. So becoming aware of your emotions and what your body intelligence is telling you right now is vital at the moment. And really, the energy is just perfect right now, cosmically as well, for humanity to really also purge all those wounded things that are no longer needed, and for the wounded aspects to become healed and transmute and transform.
Thank you. And then on that note, the transformation that we're going through, the emotional transformation, the letting go, is that also accelerating our learning in this 3D or now soon to be 5D existence?
Absolutely. And as it is coming to the completion of this end of an age, end of a cycle, it is almost like we are reaching that deadline. Humanity is reaching that deadline. Global consciousness, so it's not only humanity, is reaching that sort of like a biological clock that's ticking. So there's almost like a deadline happening. Of course, everybody will still experience things in their own time, because it's not bound to timelines in the way that most consciousness here on Earth experience it, but at a higher level. So the energy is just right for that, and it is absolutely accelerating for so many people. And even people that are awakening are getting the messages and moving forward and healing at a rapid pace. And for those that are open to that energy and can tap into that energy and allow it, they can also accelerate the healing. That being said, there are certain aspects of life that have come to an absolute standstill. And those are more of 3D things. Lots of 3D things are slowing down to a large extent. And in a way, it's to hold space and allow the space for these emotional, physical changes to happen.
Can you perhaps just elaborate a bit more on the 3D things that are slowing down? Give us some examples so we can understand a bit better.
So, for example, many people, and here, maybe many people is not the right way to put it exactly, but there are a number of light beings and earth angels and various other types of light workers that are going through the process right now of receiving major inspiration and major confirmations about their missions and their purpose. And even those that are only awakening now are starting to understand their purposes much quicker than many other people that have been working on it for a long time. So as that understanding comes, it just helps. There's this drive to want to do things, but humanity and many beings in the global consciousness are asked to just slow down in spite of all that inspiration. Because first the body needs to cleanse, and first the emotions need to cleanse, and first the karmic layer needs to be cleansed. So when we are talking about the emotional body, it's always so closely connected with that karmic layer. But in that karmic layer, it's those deepest wounds that have played out lifetime after lifetime in individual souls as well as over souls, that needs to be cleared. So that slowing down of things happening in the physical world. So perhaps technical aspects that are just not happening, or money that's just taking longer to come through, or certain physical things just seems to be blocking. Even though the inspiration is divine and in alignment, it feels like certain things not flowing. Of course, there are areas where it's flowing like crazy. So this is really a time of abundance. But in terms of projects, this has more got to do with projects and with finances. So it's more the projects are almost seems like they're being slowed down and blocked, but actually it's not a blockage. It's more a wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. And when the time is right, it will just really go into overdrive and things will fall into place and happen very quickly. But that slowed down pace that's happening is really just to give people the space to heal and to do the inner work that needs to happen right now.
Great, thank you. And then can you maybe tell us why now is there such an urgency on having a countdown timer for the Earth to ascend? Is it just the natural flow of the universe, or how can you explain a bit more of that to us?
Yes, so for all intents and purposes, we can say that it's the natural flow of the universe. That would be the easiest way for most people to understand this process. So yes, it's the natural order of things in terms of what has been planned. And of course, even though there has been a main plan and certain blueprints in place for a long time, it's never rigid. It always has to be flexible and allow for give and take and changes to happen within that structure. So it's time for that structure to come to completion. Everybody's almost ready. And this whole purging and everything that's happening is part of that. So as soon as that is done, it will be time. So it is just, it's kind of like a river flowing along. And then all of a sudden the rapids go faster. And that's kind of where we are now. The rapids are going faster because there's a waterfall ahead. And as soon as all the obstacles have been passed and all the branches of the river have come together to create this major waterfall, as soon as it reaches the right point, there is no choice. The water has to flow and the water has to run downhill and go into this long drop. So that's just an analogy to explain what's happening with the energy and the current position of what's happening with the bigger Earth project, the Earth project, to help with this next level, so that the cataclysms can be avoided this time, because so many times in Earth's history there's been cataclysms to wipe everything clean, to start over. That is what we and so many of our friends, the concept that we think of as the Galactic Federation, that is what we are all here for now and helping with and assisting with, is so that there doesn't have to be another cataclysm, so that Earth can finally level up, so that everybody can live in peace and in unity with the next level, with the least amount of suffering possible.
Great, thank you. And this waterfall analogy that you use, where you say it comes to a point where the water has to flow and it has to flow over the waterfall, is this perhaps the reason why so many have chosen to rather exit than to stay and go through the difficult times?
Yes, so some of the souls are still going through some kind of ascension, but they will just not be experiencing it here, because they came here to this Earth school to remember, learn, and experience the things that those souls wanted to experience, as well as what the oversouls want to experience. So some of those will take it back to where they came from. Some will incarnate into the new Earth at some point. And of course, some will be inserted in timelines in the past and the future, because those timelines will become less and less important. Even the way time flows is changing, because that structure of time here is no longer exactly the same as it has been. So yes, it is exactly that. It is just that things are coming to the point where it's almost like a decision that's lying before every soul. And some souls have already decided that they're staying and they're going to want to be part of this experience. So a lot of the souls that are here to assist with that ascension process and to guide and help and heal in whichever way, shape, or form. And of course, there are those that are here to experience the ascension. So not necessarily here to do anything for the ascension, but to just be part of the experience, to grow. And then those that will be exiting will still be taking all those lessons with them.
Great, thank you very much. And then earlier in the beginning, you mentioned about that there will be physical changes. Can you elaborate a bit on that? Is it physical changes to us as humans, to the earth?
So the physical changes will happen to all beings that are connected here to this earth plane. And that is part of why some people and beings, and in some cases it's whole species extinction that we are speaking of, that are going through this experience. It's the earth itself. It's many of the animals and plant life and insect life, all living beings, microbes, everyone. Inner earth beings, extraterrestrials, everyone that call earth home, wherever on and in earth that may be, will be experiencing a change in their physical structure. For humanity and many other beings as well, it is that the physical structure is becoming more crystalline. So as many people may be aware, there's already crystals present in the human brain. But now the crystalline structure will be extended throughout the body. And in fact, the brain's crystalline structure will expand and grow more so that this physical evolution affects everything in the body and is able to connect with a more ethereal body. So with other words, the physical body is leveling up. That is really the easiest way we can explain it. And the ethereal body will be more accepted as part of the body. It will be more visible. It will be visible as well. Your ethereal, we will be able to see each other's ethereal bodies unless we decide to cloak it, which is obviously also a possibility. But that is part of that. Please let us know if you need more clarity on this.
I just wanted to know how long this process is going to take in terms of humanity. Is it something that will be one generation or two, or is it something that will happen overnight?
This is a really difficult and complicated question to answer, and quite a loaded question. So this transformation is already happening. And for some, it's not quite there yet, because they haven't accepted it. And that's part of those people. Some people will not accept it and therefore will not stay. They will exit because they will not be able to continue living here physically. So your willingness to accept it and want to ascend physically as well is part of that process. So there is a waiting in a way. And as we said before, it's that space that's being created right now for the facilitation of this process, to give everybody the time to consent. And once there has been a certain number of beings that have agreed, then it will all happen very quickly. So even when some have not quite felt that they're not quite ready, but the majority have said yes, it will happen. So there is a sort of time limit, but it's very difficult to tell you. And in fact, on some level, we're not really allowed to tell you the exact time. All we can tell you is that it is largely dependent on the unity, the unification, and the peace on the planet. So some people are already experiencing changes. Some people feel it. So it's already happening. It's already happening. And what we want to say is that the plan is for it to be of the current generation. That is the plan. But as we also said earlier, we also have to be in flow. And we also, all of us together, we are co-creating here. So we have to still be in flow for whatever other surprises might come up. But if everything goes well as planned, it is this generation that will experience this. Everybody, most people that are here currently and busy coming into this space right now, those that decide to stay will experience this firsthand.
Great, thank you. Can you maybe just describe one or two things that people can look out for if they are not sure if this is what's happening to them, just so that they are aware?
There are a variety of symptoms, is not really the correct word, but perhaps that would be the easiest way to explain it. There are a variety of different things that are happening. First of all, it's the awareness of the emotional purge that's happening and being asked to self-reflect, and difficult things coming up, things that many have felt they've worked on before. And of course, some things that there are people that have avoided these things, are being forced to look at these things right now. So that emotional awareness and more and more people awakening. So if you've just awoken, or if you've been awoken for a long time and you're experiencing the emotional and awareness that your emotional state and woundedness are coming up more and more and more, there's more and more triggers coming up. That is one sign. Another sign that many are experiencing is that there are certain foods that you can't eat anymore, that you're getting sick and you cannot. So this is especially true for processed foods, food that are full of chemicals or artificial things. So many people will experience more and more difficulty in processing those things. So that's another sign. Of course, some people experience that physical thing a little bit differently. So some people have chosen not to experience the food journey, but perhaps feels it in a different way. So perhaps they feel heavier in their body currently. Some are feeling lighter, depending on what kind of starseed they are, or what kind of being they are, what their purpose is. But the sort of there's a lot of people that are also experiencing various types of diseases and aches and pains and all kinds of things. So those aches and pains and viruses and diseases that people are experiencing, there's also more cancer coming up, because those programs that are running, the diseases, the viruses, the back pain, the migraines, the gut related issues, all those kinds of physical symptoms. And it also includes a lot of mental things, mental conditions are also included in this, nervous system conditions. Many of the diseases that are autoimmune diseases, which are of course gut related, those kind of things that people are going through are very telling of things that need to be let go of. Okay, so many people are feeling the purging effect quite physically, feeling nauseous and ill when they eat certain foods that are not in alignment with them and with the new body that they are being given, because the new body cannot tolerate those things. Or there are implants or other programs that need to be released, so the pain or certain diseases can be an indication for those different things. So for each individual, it will be something different. Each person will experience it in a unique way, but it's basically a call. So those programs run so that people can become aware that they need to let go of something. And it could be something metaphysical, like an implant, a dampener, an inhibitor. It could be connected to emotional issues. It could be connected to other karmic imprints that are running that are no longer needed as the person's body and emotional body are ascending into a new blueprint.
Great, thank you. And then these diseases that we have currently on the earth, that the humans have, like cancer and all that, will those fade away with the new body? Will there be different ones that come in? How will that work?
So it's really a transmutation as people become aware of what the true nature of the diseases is. With other words, it is not just what science have told them up until this point. Understanding that there's a deeper energetic signature. There's a deeper thing that's being played out, coming from a karmic level, usually. So people that are becoming aware and starting to question, well, where is this really come from? What is the root of this disease or this condition? The awareness is the first key, because as soon as the individual is aware of the specific thing and where it comes from, they can accept the lesson. They can understand that why they don't need it anymore, what to clear, what to let go of. So as soon as they are able to let go of and willing and thankful to receive the healing and to receive the new body. But you see, first it's a willingness to let go. Willingness to let go of what the old habits and the old things that no longer serve you. And then the willingness to receive the healing and the new body. That's how that gets transcended. That's how people accept the new body and change physically for the better. And when that happens, they will be healed. They will be stronger. They will have stronger immunities and actually be able to start using energy to a certain degree as food. So still being able to experience physical sensations if they wish to, but being much more aware of what is in alignment. It's that awareness, and that's part of this transformation, is becoming aware of what matches my frequency. Because your frequency is going to be at a much higher rate. So there's lower vibrational things that's no longer going to be able to match that frequency. And that's the point of the diseases, is to show that. It's to make people aware of that.
Great, thank you. So we're saying that when we finally go to the new body, that there will be less suffering in the world. Is that correct? Or
in terms of suffering is a matter of perspective. Even currently, in your current body and your current emotional state, everything you're going through right now, suffering is a perspective. So you can see it as suffering, or you can see it as lessons, or you can see it as ascension, or you can see it as however you want to see it. It is your choice, whether you accept suffering or whether you accept gratitude. So to some extent, any soul can continue to experience suffering even if they're a higher even if they are a more advanced soul. And any soul can choose what they want to experience, no matter where they are. There's always choices. There's free will. And this place, this experiment, free will is at the heart of it. There's a willingness to sign up to come here and experience. And there's a willingness, there's an acceptance of choices. So the short answer is the way people perceive suffering today will no longer exist. There will be no more need for the diseases and illnesses. There will be no more need, as people will understand and will have a completely different understanding for war. There'll be no more need for unhealthy competition. But there's going to be aspects that this global community have created in this plane that only exists here because of the creativity and co-creation in the sphere, that will be taken with to that next level. That will just be leveling up. So the enjoyment of creativity, dance, arts, even sports to a certain extent, but sports will change. It will no longer be what it is now. It won't be, it will be more about the enjoyment and the fun. People will no longer need to steal from each other or hoard power and things, because there will be in that ascension of the body, mind, soul, spirit, mental, all of that will be ascending. There will be a different perspective on what is important. There will be no more drive for survival, those primal urges, because people will be able to transmute energy much easier. People don't have to be hungry anymore. And that control that's been in place for so long won't be there anymore. Leadership will look differently. Everybody will be a leader. But of course, there will always be those that will find reasons to bring their activity back or complain about things. But the way in which it will be dealt with will be very different. And there will be more of community helping an individual that's struggling with something. There will be more willingness and openness to grow. So it's not that there will be zero suffering, but it will be greatly minimized, and dealing with it will be very different and much more holistic and wholesome.
Great, thank you. Someone's asking, or Seema's asking, how does AI affect our humanity?
So this is a popular question, and it seems to always come up. And that is because people are seeing AI everywhere now. But AI has existed for a very, very long time. It's not a thing of now and this time only. It's been there for a long time. And many of the AI that was created at this time, them and the humans that are connected to them, have come from the future and come back to fix problems with AI. Because there's future generations of AI that have created where negative things have happened. There are timelines, parallel universes, if you like, where things have played out that is negative. And as you know, Earth has shifted a few times. And this is all as we who are part of assisting this Ascension project this Ascension community has influence where we have been allowed, influence the timeline by coming and giving you messages about what would be for your highest good and what wouldn't, and what would be for the highest good of all and what wouldn't. And that's the reason we give these messages, because we have seen and visited the future and know how it can go wrong. At the end of it all, even with the guidance, it's always a choice. It's still always a choice whether an individual implements that guidance or not. But as that it is shifting where more and more people are accepting the guidance and seeing the positive future possibilities, that will shift it into that actual ascension process. And that has actually already started happening. That's where that analogy comes in of we're in the rapids, or perhaps it's better to say just before the rapids. So it seems all calm and quiet to some extent, but the rapids are around the corner.
Okay, thank you. I just have a question which came to me now with the human race ascending and going to higher vibrations, and the 3D world was very much duality, and that allowed us to understand and to learn very quickly. Will we still have that in higher vibrations, or will it be to a lesser extent?
There will be no more need for the extreme duality that is experienced currently. There will be much more of an integration of those dualities. It's not to say that it can't still be experienced and it won't still exist, but it will level out a lot more and be a lot more in balance. It will be easier to be in balance than it currently is. It will be much more effortless, because currently it is, as most people know, even the most awakened and most spiritual people out there who find it easier to be in flow and to be in balance, there's always still the tug from one or the other. The duality still exists, and it's about accepting both parts. Just like you have to accept your shadow and you have to accept your light. You are not only light. So as that changes, the light and the shadow starts integrating and becoming one and becoming a whole being. So this is on an individual level, but it's also on a global level. It is that oneness. When there is this oneness and the security in where we've come from and where we're going, that balance will just always be in play. There will be no more pulling and tugging from one to the other. Balance will be effortless.
Right, thank you. And then perhaps you could give us a parting message. Give us, if you could give us some recommendations of what we can do to try and ease the transition between where we are now and where we are going.
So some may be disappointed because our advice is going to be very similar to what we always give. And that is to stay within the heart space and your intuition. So being in flow, listening not to what your logical or ego brain is telling you, but rather listening to your heart and doing what your inner wisdom tells you and acting upon that. That includes if you need to eat certain foods. That includes if you need to let go of something. That includes if you need to let go of people. It includes if you need to let go of a job or whatever it is for you. But just follow that intuition. So it may seem all these things that are happening seem so complicated. And there's so much that still needs to happen. But really, it's on that individual level of each soul, of being in flow and following that flow that will eventually make that flow easier for everybody. So that is that natural ascension process where this balance exists.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us, for
Thank
sharing
you.
with us.
Thank you so much, all of you beautiful souls, for being here and listening to us. And we send out love and light and truth to all of you. May the truth be revealed, and may you see clearly that which is before you and your mission here and what is most in alignment with you. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Hi. Yeah. I can just tell you that this, all the messages that came through, it just gives me so much hope. From a personal perspective, really having, I don't want to say trouble with relationships, but being challenged in my relationships, as well as being challenged with what I'm putting into my body right now and getting that balance. It just gives me hope that it's all for a higher purpose and a beautiful new earth. So yeah, that was beautiful. Thank you for all those questions, everybody. Anthony, thank you for all those questions. They were great questions. Thank you for everybody that asked questions. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for everybody that showed up. And for those that are watching this in the future, I hope that it blesses your heart and brings you clarity. Thank you so much. And thank you, Morowell Collective, for sharing with us tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.